everyone, and welcome to this HyperWorks tutorial. Today we will be interacting with the part browser. To begin, we go into File, Import, BOM, and we browse to the file that is associated with this exercise. Once you select the correct file, press Open. In the BOM Import Options dialog, under CATIA PDM Attributes, set UID as part number. And press Import. The part browser is automatically invoked. The part browser shows the product structure. Parts are assembled under part assemblies according to the BOM. Use Collapse and Expand All from the right-click context menu to inspect the model organization. Parts have additional information coming with them. In the part browser, right-click on a column header and select PDM PID, PDM MID, PDM Material, PDM Thickness, and PDM Mesh Flag. These columns show the PDM metadata that is parsed upon importation of the BOM file. This information is also shown in the Entity Editor under the PDM data pane. Next, we will load the CAD data for the fuselage assembly. In the part browser, right-click on GA Aircraft Fuselage ASSII. Go into Representations, Load, From Session. In the Change Representation dialog, on the Load tab, select CAD and press OK. The process will take more or less 1 minute. Click OK in the dialog that appears. You can review the CAD model displayed in the modeling area by pressing Q or by right-clicking and selecting Review. Next, we will create a local library. Right-click in the white area of the part browser and go into Library, Libraries. From the Libraries dialog, use the plus icon to register a new library. Select the library in the list and choose a local path in your machine using the folder icon. Press OK, then Add and Connect. Next, we define a user representation. First, right-click on the GA Aircraft Fuselage ASSII, go into Representations and hit Create. The Change Representation dialog and the Create tab offers a number of default representations, but it is also possible to create a user representation. Click Cancel to close the dialog. Next, right-click again, go into Representations, Settings, and User Representations. In the User Representations dialog, click the plus icon to create a new representation and name it DFEM. Use the folder icon to navigate to the param and criteria files. Click Apply and OK. The new user representation gets listed in the Change Representation dialog. Expand the fuselage assembly and use Review mode and Isolate only on the skin assembly. We're going to create representations only for the visible parts. Set the entity selector to Parts and select the visible parts from the modeling window. Then right-click, go to Representations and click on Create. In the Change Representation dialog, in the Create tab, choose DFEM from the list. Make sure to have Save to Library and Quality Report options checked. Now, click OK. All representations are sent to Batch Measure for processing in parallel. At the end of the job, a dialog appears in the HyperWorks window. This process will take a few minutes. By default, Batch Measure will automatically create common representations if one does not exist in the session. Common representations form the basis of all subsequent discipline-specific mesh representations. Click Yes to import all new representations into the session. You will see DFEM under the representation column. The mesh and geometry of a representation is stored in a component collector under the part. A property is assigned with the thickness information from the part. The library revision is updated. Next, right-click on the fuselage skin assembly and go to Library, Library Viewer, and here you will see a representation for each part with a revision number, including a major revision A and a library revision. You can see the same through the entity editor. Click Cancel to close the dialog. Now we will create another user representation. Following the same steps as before, create a new user representation, but this time name it Course Mesh. Select the param and criteria files associated with this course mesh. Create a new course mesh representation, sending the two parts to Batch Measure. Note that we have increased the target element size from 15 to 30. Open the library viewer and verify that now we have two representations for each part. Both representations have major revision A, but the library revision will be different. Click Cancel to close the library viewer. You can now switch between DFEM and Course Mesh representations from the Change Representation dialog. Next, we will make a different study revision with a finer mesh for a single part. Go to the GA Aircraft Fuselage Scheme 2 and make current. From the Entity Editor, change its study revision to 1 before making changes on the mesh of the part. Next, use Reveal to create a finer mesh on the selected elements. Here you can see the updated mesh. To add the revised part to the library, right-click on the part that we just changed. Go into Representations, Add to Library. In the dialog, select DFEM and press OK to save the part revision. Open the library viewer to see that now we have a new representation with Study Revision 1. Click Cancel to close Library Viewer. Now you may save the file as GA Aircraft Fuselage Final.